Okay, to answer the two questions from previous video, I hope you will think about this. The first question, why would bacteria infect you? And another second part of the question, how come with intact skin, right now you don't get any infection? So when our skin is damaged, okay, the background information is this one. At the beginning of the semester, we talked about four major types of biological molecules, namely carbohydrate, protein, lipid, and nucleic acid. And I also mentioned that these are the four types of the major food that we eat, and these are also the molecules that form our body. So, in other words, we are what we eat, and we are a gigantic walking food bank because our body are made by all these four molecules. That means we are the food. We are what we eat. Then when we cut the skin open, then we expose all the food, all the nutrients inside our body. Then bacteria, we see that, oh wow, there's a lot of food there. Then they will go in to eat our body, go inside our body to eat all the nutrients inside our body. In other words, the bacteria infect us. They just want to make a living. It's nothing personal. Life is harsh, as you know, so they just want to make a living. Don't take it personally. So this answer first part of the question, why would bacteria infect us? Then second part of the question, how come with intact skin, like right now you don't get the bacterial infection? The reason is that the top three layers on your epidermis, they are dead. They are dead layer of skin. In other words, we wrap our body with dead cells. And what does it mean? It helps us to fake ourselves as dead tissues. So when bacteria see that, oh, it is all dead cells on the surface, then they will assume that we are dead, then they won't eat us. So you answer the second part of the question. Then the third question, they ask, which part of our body or which opening is acidic? In the slides we mentioned stomach is acidic, yes. What is the second organ or second part of the body? The answer is vagina. Vagina is acidic so that it helps to inhibit bacteria grow in there. Okay, we ended last video with inflammation. There are three cell types that can cause the inflammatory responses. The first one is mast cell. Mast cell, you can find mast cell basically all over your body, everywhere. And when you have damage to your skin, opening on the skin, then mast cell will secrete histamine. And histamine will cause vasodilation that we talked about last time. And histamine is also a chemical that will increase the permeability of your capillary. That means it will make your capillary more leaky. You're leakier, yeah. And then you have macrophages and dendritic cell. Macrophages and dendritic cell, they can do phagocytosis. My physiology students, they are very creative. After I explain what phagocytosis is, they come up with a very good way to memorize it. Phagocytosis is basically like hug and kiss. So the macrophages or dendritic cells, they will extend the pseudopod. That means a fake feet, and then they will engulf microbes or foreign infectious agent, so that the bacteria, they will be engulfed in a vacuole, or we call it phagosome. This vacuole will be internalized into the body of the macrophages or dendritic cell, and then this phagosome that has the bacteria inside the vacuole, it will merge with a lysosome. A lysosome, as I mentioned before, it contains digestive enzyme. When these two merge, and then the digestive enzyme will hopefully break down the bacteria inside the phagosome to kill it. Cytokine, what is cytokine? Cytokine is a cell-to-cell signaling molecule, meaning that one cell, they will secrete a cytokine molecule so that it will go to another cell to tell the other cell what to do. So that is what we call a cytokine. So cytokine is a chemical messenger that tell other immune cell what to do, influence the activity of other cell. So this is the graphical representation of what we just talked about. We have injured cell. When we have the tissue is injured, then the mast cell will release histamine. Mast cell will release histamine to cause vasodilation, so that more blood can go in to this area to cause redness and increase the temperature, heat, and also it will increase the leakiness of the blood vessels, so that increase the leakiness so that protein can go into the tissue, but also the macrophages, they can squeeze out the capillary from the capillary to the tissue easier because the leakiness increase, and it is easier for them to migrate to the tissues so that they can fight the infection. And the macrophages, they are the mature form of something called monocyte. So it's very easy to memorize. Monocyte, M. Mature, also big M, start with M. Macrophage, also M. So monocyte mature to become macrophage. So they're all M. M goes together. And the neutrophil is another type of white blood cell that can also do phagocytosis. So neutrophil can do phagocytosis. Macrophage can do phagocytosis. Dendritic cell, they can hinder the infectious agent, and dendritic cell, after they catch the infectious agent, then they will send out a cytokine to tell other white blood cells, oh, come here, we have a lot of infectious agent. Then all these white blood cells, they will come here to start fighting the war. Yeah, so it said that macrophage dendritic, they can phagocytize pathogens and release cytokine. So and then neutrophil and monocyte, as I said, they will become macrophage. They can squeeze through capillary because in that area the permeability increase. Then they have easier time to do that. And then the blood vessels are damaged, and then of course there's a blood clotting mechanism that we are not going to talk about here in this part of the video. So basically, it's just a repeat of what we talked about in here. So the endocytic vesicle, it is called phagosome. Phagosome will merge with lysosome so that the digestive enzyme can kill the pathogen inside the phagosome. And neutrophil, they can form pus. They are the one, they can also do phagocytosis. Monocyte, they will become macrophages. They can also do phagocytosis. And then we have something different type of cell. We call it natural killer cell. It sounds very cool. Natural killer cell, they have a large granule. They can kill cancer cell or infected cell by cell-to-cell contact. How do they do that? How do they find out? Okay, there's something called MHC1 protein. MHC1 protein is a major histocompatibility class 1 protein. This one occurs on the cell. That means if the cell is healthy and it belongs to us, our body, then our body cell will express MHC1 protein. But for pathogen, bacteria or other infectious agent, they do not express MHC1. When they do not express MHC1, then our body will attack them. So it's just like student ID card. If you have a student ID card, then campus police will recognize you as West LA college student. But if you don't have a student ID card, then the campus police will assume that you are not the student here. So you may consider it an ID card. And for cancer cell or virus infected cell, they do not express this MHC1 protein. Because they don't have the MHC1 protein, they don't have student ID card, then the immune system will attack those cells. Complement. So what is complement? Okay, said that the complement, they are also protein. They're also protein in your blood. We usually use big C and then a number. So there are many different types of complement. So some complement, they bind to mast cell and then to tell mast cell to secrete histamine. And then some complement, they can attack some complement can attract phagocyte and then bind to the pathogen surface. So they can attack the pathogen. So one complement, they can form something called membrane attack complex, MAC. MAC is called membrane attack complex. What it does is that the complement protein, they will insert into the cell membrane of the bacteria or pathogen. Then it forms a pore. The pore will cause the cell become leaky. So the cytoplasm of the pathogen will leak out of the cell. In this case, it can kill the cell.